Hey there, everybody. Real quick thing before I launch into talking about Momodora 3, which is the game that I'm going to cover. This is going to be the last review that I do before Steam Summer Sale, during which time, I'm actually, the day that I'm recording this, not the day that I'm releasing this, but the day I'm recording it, I am going out of town. And I'm going to be out of town and unable to record more videos for a week, exactly 1 week. But I literally forced my family to change travel plans slightly to accommodate the fact that I was like, Steam Summer Sale and Steam Winter Sale, that's kind of like, for most people, what my channel is all about. So yeah, I will be doing those videos. I will be prepared for that. But in the meantime, let me give you this video review. Just know that there won't be any after this. The next video that you'll see after this will be my breakdowns of the Steam Summer Sale at the $10, $5, $2, and $1 mark, same as I always do. So you'll have those to look forward to. Anyway, let's get into it. Momodora 3, released in 2004 by Ardyne. This is a single-person development, as Momodora 1 and 2 were. And this is the first non-freeware game in the Momodora series. Momodora 1 and 2 were released as pay-as-you-like games, which you can still get to this day. If I remember, I will link to them. I probably won't remember because I always forget that kind of stuff. But I will try to remember to link to them when I post this video. But they are pay-what-you-like games on itch.io, which means you can get them for free. But he's asking $2 per game for Momodora 1 and 2. Anyway, so yeah, Momodora 3 is very much like its predecessors. There are two more Momodora games, Reverie Under Moonlight and Moonlit Farewell, which had larger development teams, more money thrown at them in general, and produced games that are generally well regarded. They're much more Metroidvania style games that a lot of people are very big fans of. You have people who are just very much devoted to this series. And this is, I do own Reverie Under Moonlight. I haven't played it yet. I do intend to play it. But I wanted to play Momodora 3 first. And my concern was am I going to be able to play this without having played 1 and 2? Yes, you can. You can play any game in the Momodora series without having played the other games in the series. Although if you do play all the games in the series, there's a bit more lore and whatnot that people who are big fans of the series really like. But it's not entirely necessary for you to enjoy the game. And here's the thing about Momodora 3 that is similar to 1 and 2. It is an action platformer that feels like it might be Metroidvania-ish, and indeed has some slight Metroidvania elements, but is not a true Metroidvania. We can get into the weeds about what exactly that means. But in my mind, what makes a real Metroidvania is that thing where it's like, oh, I can see that eventually I'll be able to get to this place once I get the power that unlocks that allows me to double jump, dash, wall climb, whatever the power is that you need to unlock. It is what separates, the Hollow Knights of the world from, your regular platformers of the world. I'm not thinking of any regular platformers, at least not any big. Super Mario Brothers 1? Anyway, yeah, I gotta go back to 1985 for a reference. Anyway, regardless, moving on. It is much more of a straightforward, albeit not that straightforward, because, like, I did find myself wondering, like, where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to do? Oh no, I'm in a boss fight, and this boss is taking forever to kill. Maybe I'm not supposed to meet this boss right now. Yeah, anyway, it just, there are things about the game that bear the marks of a single-person development team. But here's the other side of the single-person development team, is that it's a labor of love. And you can see that the person who created this, and I should have written the man's name down. I have found it. I've seen what the man's name is. I'm not entirely confident in my ability to pronounce it correctly, which is why I didn't write it down. But the dude loved the game that he was creating, and that's why he made it. And so, you know, this idea of these sort of pixel art, chibi-ish, anime-type girls hacking and slashing their way through the world, yeah, that's what he wanted. In Momodora 3, you can play as Momo, and you can play as Dora, two different girls who, I'm gonna be honest with you, I've only played as the one. I get the impression from what I've been told that they both kind of play similarly. I don't know if there's a big difference between the two, but you can play. They look different. There's that, and they have different names. But yeah, I can't tell you exactly if there's a huge difference between the two, but what I've read suggests that there is not a huge difference between the two. Now, I will tell you, I did have some early frustration with the game because I am playing with a controller, because it feels like I should be playing with a controller. In Momodora 1 and 2, it is strictly keyboard. It is keyboard only. It is not controllerable at all. In Steam, you know, Steam is always going to try and make your controller work, even if the developer did not intend it, and that turned out to be the problem, the source of many of my early frustrations, because I was having trouble figuring out where to go and what to do, and I'm like, I should be able to open this door, right? I should be able to talk to this person, right? And I realized that although the, you know, when I would pull up the, how you say, the button mapping and look at what each of the things do, I'm like, yeah, I'm doing the right thing. I'm pushing the button that should correspond to this happening. Turns out when I push the button on the keyboard, that's when the action actually takes place. This only affected things like saving the game, picking up items, opening doors, talking to NPCs, things like that. It's not things that are going to affect the action sequences, you know, boss fights, etc. It's not going to affect those at all, but it will affect like some of those quality of life things. You just got to either get used to it and be like, okay, every now and again I'm going to have to reach for the keyboard, or just play it on the keyboard. I don't know. I hate playing games like this on keyboard, but also I understand it's a single-person development team. Yeah, just one dude doing it for the love of the game, which is something that I respect quite a bit. Anyway, yeah, until I figured that out, like, I felt trapped in the game because I kept wandering around. I wandered into the same boss fight twice, and that boss fight was obscenely long. The Guardian of the Shrine, like, I fought her for like, because she takes well over 100 hits. And all you do is jump over her when she rush attacks you and then hit her in the back. That's all you do. And it takes forever. Uh, and I got so tired of doing it, especially by the end of the second time around. And I was like, ugh, this is terrible. But eventually I got into new areas. It was like, oh, I get it. I get it. And there is a lot of charm and beauty to this game, especially the pixel art is very expressive and beautiful, and the music is really good. This feels like, a hidden gem on the SNES. That's what it really feels like. Feels like, some sort of, Japanese only SNES hidden gem that, is gonna cost you like $200 to get a cartridge of it. Feels like one of those. But yeah, it certainly does have a ton of charm. And yeah, there are weird things about it. There's this guy, he's not a boss because he doesn't have a name and an energy bar. He looks like a Goomba mixed with a beet, like the root vegetable. And it's the same thing. Jump over him, hit him in the back. It got really tedious, and he took forever to kill. But I killed him. I killed him dead eventually. Yeah, those were the things that felt tedious, and indeed, like, you can progress through the game without killing that guy. And indeed, you should progress through the game without killing that guy. It's just my, hack and slash mentality did not allow me to just let an enemy live. I don't know. Maybe that's a problem with me. But yeah, you'll see a lot of really interesting ideas thrown at the wall, many of which stick in this game. And I can see why the later games in the series are much more beloved. Like, you'll see some mixed criticism of the earlier Momodora games because, like, they're a little glitchy. They are a little rough around the edges because of the single person development team. But I think if you give it a chance, you, like me, will reach a point where you're like, oh, I get it. I see why this game is beloved. Anyway, so yeah, it's one of those things where fans of the series are going to always defend it and always be like, no. You need to play it. You need to give it a chance. And indeed you do. And because you can buy this game on discount and it's not very expensive, yeah, I would say it's totally worth the price of admission. Some people complain that it's too short. I don't know. With my backlog, I kind of love games that are charming but also short. So it is not a negative in my book. Anyway, so final score wise, I'm going to give Momodora 3 a 7.5 out of a possible 10 Hillary Clinton Funko Pops. Why Hillary Clinton? I don't know. It's what I thought of at the time. I just Googled what's a weird Funko Pop, and they're like, what about Hillary Clinton? I'm like, that's plenty weird. Anyway, people, that's going to do it for this one. I will see you when the Steam Summer Sale is happening. Okay, bye.